Hi guys, welcome back to Tia Reitano. My name is Abby, and tonight we are going to be doing, I'm going to show you guys how to do some sacral healing spell work, because I know we were talking about during the tarot poll, the weekly sacral healing tarot poll, how this week is a little bit like frustrating in parts, and right now the moon is currently in Scorpio, so I wanted to do a sacral healing video so you guys can know how to practice self-care with also spell work, not just understanding the blockages and trying to work it out mentally and sexually if you're working with like different crystals and stuff like that, which is perfectly fine. I wanted to show you guys how to do it as well with spell work, which is one of the coolest ways to do it as well. So for this spell work, we're going to be doing, I'm going to be doing the Yoni candle specifically. If you are a guy watching this video, that's fine. You can use the penis candle, it's totally fine. I would say maybe you might want to change up some of the herbs, even though the herbs should be fine and universal if you want to, but if you want to change any of the herbs, it's totally fine. But I'm going to be using the Yoni candle, and the Yoni candle is actually really awesome because it helps you do a lot. You can do so much spell work with this, like lust spell work, come to me spell work, love spell work, sex spell work, sacral healing spell work, which is what we're going to be doing today. And this is actually going to be like a lot of fun for me because Scorpio rules the sacral chakra. The energy of Scorpio rules the sacral chakra. So working with stuff like this, especially when it's visual, when you can visualize it, it's something that helps while you're practicing your healing as well. So we are going to get started. I'm going to tell you guys what you're going to need to do. The first thing you're going to need to do, the first thing that you need is a carnelian crystal. And before you start the spell work, you need to do at least like a 10-minute sacral meditation with the carnelian crystal. And the carnelian is really good for the sacral space, especially for women. Really amazing crystal for a sacral space. I use it all the time. I kind of use and abuse it a lot because I also use it in my water bottle. I have the VitaJewel water bottle, which comes in different pods, and I don't know if you guys can see it. So it comes with different pods that I interchange. This one's called Passion, and it has carnelian in it, but I use it during my moon cycle, which is my menstruation cycle, because it helps with pretty much everything that has to do with cramps and periods, like just everything. So for me, the crystal energizes the water, crystallizes the water, attunes it to the vibration of the carnelian. So I'm basically drinking all that goodness in. But definitely do the meditation for at least 10 to 15 minutes. And then after you come out of the meditation, then you can start on your spell work. You're gonna need a tray, so you can put this guy can melt in. You're gonna need they're like 3-inch candles. You're gonna need 2 of these, a chopstick. I'm gonna be using, you can use, if you have like a sex oil or something like that, you can use that. If you don't, you can use olive oil. Olive oil is like universal for all spell work. You can pretty much use it for anything. But I'm gonna be using my Scorpio oil that I make energy cleansing hair oils, but they double up as a little bit as conjure oils here and there, especially when I'm trying to tap into the energy of a specific moon. And since the moon is in Scorpio, and Scorpio rules sex and transformation, and that's the intention that I set with this oil, is a lot of healing and transformation and all the goodness that is a Scorpio. I put it in the bottle, and so I'm going to be tapping into the moon specifically using this oil. So that's the oil I'm going to use, especially for healing, because Scorpio moons are really great to do healing work. So I'm going to be using this guy again. But if you don't have my oil, obviously you can I mean, I'll put the link down below if you want to order it, but if you wanted to just use olive oil, you could do that as well. So chopstick, you're going to need a Yoni candle or a penis candle if you're a guy watching this and you want to try this at home. And then I'm going to show you guys which herbs I'm going to be using. the cool thing about the herbs that I'm going to show you is that you can actually use this if you didn't want to do the Yoni candle spell work. You can actually make a Yoni steam out of the herbs that I'm going to show you, and you can use that instead if you wanted to do it that way. That also helps with sacral healing. Yoni steaming is great for that, so something that you can also do. So I'm going to be using mugwort, French blue lavender. You can use lavender period, but I specifically have French blue lavender in the house because I'm just like a little bit extra fancy. My one of my local tea shops has like specifically French blue lavender. It just has a little bit of a stronger lavender taste to it. There's like a little bit more of a punch to it, so I just keep buying that one, but it's just pretty much the same thing. I'm going to be using spearmint and sage and rose petals. So those are the ones we're going to be using. I'm also going to add eucalyptus to mine. This is optional. It's just that I obnoxiously add eucalyptus to all of my like pretty much anytime I'm doing healing spell work or almost any spell work, I try to add a little bit more of like the healing to it, because you always want to approach the situation in like a positive way, not like a negative way. So I always add eucalyptus is like my go-to healing herb. I have a few, but that one is the one that I use just a lot, and I believe this one also has eucalyptus oil, essential oil in it as well. So things that you can do. So that's pretty much it. That's what I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to just show you. I'm going to do it as I go. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to cleanse this baby, and we're going to do that two ways. I like to be thorough with this because I forgot to tell you the other thing you're going to need. You're going to need Florida water. I feel like that's a given now. Everybody should just use Florida water for everything. And if you don't, you should just get some. And then you're just going to cleanse. And you're really going to get in there because the Yoni candle has a lot of like crevices and stuff. So you want to just massage the hell out of it. This is a really, should be a very sexual experience while you're doing this candle work, because this specific candle you want to treat like it's your Yoni, because that is what we're doing. We're using this spell to heal our own wound, right? So you want to treat it as gentle and as loving, and send all those healing thoughts and all of those healing vibes to the candle as you're working with it, as you're cleansing it, as you're touching it. Everything you do should be something that you would love to have been doing to your pussy at this time. So just massage it while the Florida water dries up. And once that is dry, we're going to kind of give it a little bit of a steaming session. By that I mean we're just going to sage the candle just to make sure it's nice and cleansed. Just getting a fake steaming, kind of, not really, as fake smoking. But just to cleanse it out. Okay, so next you are going to do it to your 3-inch candles as well. So we're going to, one, Florida water. I had already cleansed these when I brought them in the house, but I'm just doing it for the sake of the video. So they're already cleansed, but it's fine. We'll be fine. Okay. So then we're going to take the sage. Guys out. And the reason why I'm using 2-inch candles instead of 3, because in a lot of spell work, you usually would end up using 3, is because we're seeking balance for the spell work. We want it to be balanced out. We don't want to be too much of one and like just a kind of trinity of imbalance. We want it to be symbolizing the 2 sides of like Scorpio, which is like obviously ruling the sacral space, being very sexual, being very open to different experiences, being in tune with its sexual nature, and also dealing with the darkness and the transformation elements and the transformation aspects of what Scorpio does. So we want it to be balanced. We want our sacral space to be in balance, which is why we're using 2 white ones. The next thing you're going to do, so you're going to write yourself a very love letter to your pussy. And you can pretty much say whatever you want in the back of this. You can get really creative as far as like how you want it to be treated, how you want it to smell, how you want it to taste, like whatever it is, how you want to feel with your sacral space, how you want to, like your relationship with your sacral space, how you want to connect to it. Just get creative with it, but this is a love letter to your pussy, so write yourself a beautiful love letter. How do you want your pussy to be treated? How do you want that space to work for you? What is it that you want from it? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna write because I'm doing this spell. Like there's a lot of people that do spell work just to show you on YouTube, but I'm actually doing it. So I'm just gonna write mine and you guys can do yours. However, I am gonna start it with Dear Juicy Pussy. Because that's just how I feel. And at the bottom, you're just gonna sign it because this is a letter. So, all right, so that's good. So, the next thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna take your 2 candles, and you're going to write on one what you want to release, and then the other one you're gonna write what you would like to experience more with your yoni. So, with the releasing one, you're gonna hold the candle up like this so it's coming out, okay? And then the other one, we're gonna do it this way. So and then you're going to sign it with your name. And then with the other one, you're going to face it towards you like this. So that you're writing it like this. And then you're going to say what you would like to receive. And then you're going to sign it with your name. So it's kind of really interesting. Since I started doing the these sacral videos, because I wanted it to be something that we could do together as far as healing our sacral space, because as women specifically, I'm just taking the bottom of the candle I'm melting it a little bit so I can put it on the tray. As women, it's really easy to get lost in the sauce and then trap so much stuff in there. So working with Scorpio energy is something that I personally do a lot, but I personally do a lot because I have a very dominant Scorpio placement. I mentioned that before, but it's easy for me to connect to that energy. And Scorpio moons is something that I see again a mile away, like coming a mile away, energetically speaking. So it's important to me to clear that space and work with that space because that's one of my most active spaces for myself. Because you don't have to always like leave your sacral space open to somebody else. It doesn't have to be like, oh, if you're working on your sacral space, you're healing your sacral space, you need to be having sex all the time, or you need to be like putting the healing of it to be on somebody else to heal that for you. It's a very personal thing. It's very personal and sacred space. So I work with it actively, and a lot of people have a lot of blockages in this space. So that's why I specifically chose that chakra. The next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to take the candle, we're going to take the oil, we're going to take a couple of drops of the oil, and we're going to give ourselves a very nice massage. So you're going to drop it. And the reason for this is that we're treating this exactly as you would want to treat your vagina. So if you have ever used oil to massage your pussy, then you would know how good it feels. So we're treating this candle exactly the way we would want to be treated. So we're giving her a very, very nice massage. And while you're doing this, you can say words of affirmation. You can read your letter again to yourself. You can also say what you would want from it, what you want it to be like, how you want it to feel like, what you want to release, what you want to attract. And then you're going to put it in the center, like that. And the excess in your hands, you're just going to rub up from the candles that you already put there. And if one comes off, it's fine. You just melt it again. Because they're always going to come off like that. Yeah. Okay. It dries so fast. Okay. So the rest of the oil you could just rub on yourself. Actually just washed my hair, so my hair actually smells like this, and I love it because it's one of my favorite oils. So this is kind of like the bonus part. You just put it on your hair afterwards. This is one of my favorite oils to work with because anytime that I feel like the energy gets a little stagnant, that's because it's like pre-Scorpio moon hasn't came yet, and so it hasn't wrecked life. So I feel like once it comes, it's like the direction changes and it's all different. So we just want to drop a couple more drops on the 3-inch candles. Okay. Just so they're good and coated. Okay. Then we're going to take our herbs and we're going to spread it on. The important thing when you're working with herbs, doing root work, or hoodoo, is that you want to make sure that you're setting the intention while you're putting the herbs in. So for each herb, you want to make sure that you're activating those elements, activating what you want it to do for you. So if it's lavender, I want to be happy, I want to feel peaceful, I want to feel safe, I want to, like, whatever it is, you're going to for each herb that you're using, you want to make sure that you're saying, this is what I want. This is what I want from this. I want to feel like this. This is how I want to feel. This is how I do feel. Like, say it in whatever way you feel comfortable in, but that's how we're gonna word it. So the first one I'm gonna put in was spearmint. I'm gonna take a nice handful. Okay. And then you're gonna go clockwise, and you're gonna set your intention for this herb. And if it falls on the candle, that's totally fine. That's why we didn't coat it first, because I knew it was gonna happen anyway. Next one is mugwort. And my hand is oily, so it doesn't want to come out. Okay. So again, you can customize the herbs to your preference, especially for what you need, because there's some herbs that can help for specific things. This general herb blend, it's really good for pretty much almost anything. As far as generally anything that, like if you were Yoni steaming, that you would need to have a really good solid Yoni session. As far as like detoxifying and moisturizing and everything. We're gonna do sage. And sage is always amazing to add to spell work, but also to Yoni steaming, just because you can do so much with sage. It's just great for cleansing and protection and just removing things. So you can say, I remove blockages in my sacral space, I release, I heal. And we're the last one that we're gonna do. Well, I'm gonna add eucalyptus. That's the last one because that's my final touch for everything. But the last one I'm gonna do here is rose petals. I love rose petals. I mean, I feel like everybody does love. Like that's kind of like the universal herb for love. Then again, I'm gonna add eucalyptus because I add eucalyptus to everything. Okay. I just want to make sure that's camera. And then you're just going to want to take some time to go over again with your intention. I personally, I say this all the time, I like to Reiki my spell work just because I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I like to add on more energy. So you are a Reiki practitioner, you can do your symbols on them. That's what I'm going to do. I can't show you guys because we're not supposed to show you guys unless you're, you know, but I'm going to do it in my head, and then I'm just going to sit with it for a second. So once you have to sit with it and you feel good about it, I totally misplaced my little stick thing that I was going to use to light it. So I'm just going to take a piece of rose to light it with. Which I guess seems very appropriate when you think about it. Okay. Ooh, I'm definitely going to burn myself with this one. See, the thing about rose is that it immediately starts smoking, which is totally fine. I'm gonna grab the end of a incense stick. Hold on. Ooh. Thought I had one next to me, but I do not. Okay. Smoking rose as incense is actually really good. It would actually be really good to do right now as well. Smoking some rose incense. You just take the rose petals and put it on a charcoal disc, or just literally burn it and just let the smoke come on. So I'm gonna sit with this guy for a while, just to continue to set my intention and to fuel it with energy and power and healing affirmations and healing thoughts. And that's basically it. That's basically the whole spell work. If you would like to, this is something that you can do like once a month or once every couple of months when you feel like you're really stuck there and you really need to do it. But it's something that is really good to help your sacral space and to help release it, because practicing witchcraft, magic, whatever you want to call it, it's something that helps you mentally to manifest. It's just a vessel of fueling your energy and your manifestation in directions. You're putting it in, you're putting your intention in a place, in a vessel, and you're like, okay, this is what I want. And you're looking at it, you're staring it down, you're meditating with it, and you're able to give yourself that focus in. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next week for the next sacral video, and I'll have more videos up hopefully this weekend. We'll see. I'm getting another certification this weekend, so I don't know if I'm gonna have time, but I will try. Right now, currently, I am having a sale on my website through the weekend for 35% off all my products with the code SOLAR, because I was still running the solar eclipse coupon. So if you guys want to use the coupon, I'll have the link down below and everything down below. So I'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe.